After my secondary differentiation turned me into an omega, my pheromones became dangerously unstable. The slightest whiff of my rival's scent would trigger forced heats. Yet he remained oblivious, strutting around campus like a walking aphrodisiac. I couldn't take it anymore and transferred schools under cover of darkness. 1 year later, I found myself surrounded by dorm mates at the university basketball court, being begged to get another alpha's contact info. Right. My strawberry-scented omega roommate pleaded, clutching my arm. I'll bring you meals for 2 weeks. Please? I nudged him toward the dorm. Your heat's approaching. Go get your suppressant patch. Don't you need one? He hesitated. I shook my head. My heats had mysteriously stopped after leaving that person. Medical tests showed nothing. Approaching the court, I froze. The alpha chatting with teammates had an achingly familiar silhouette. Before I could retreat, iron fingers clamped around my wrist. IV pheromones flooded my senses as an arm like steel cable locked around my waist. Caught you. Ethan's voice rasped against my ear, colder than winter concrete. His blonde hair stuck to sweat, dampened skin, those glacier blue eyes blazing. First you seduce me and vanish. Now you chase other alphas? What am I to you? My jaw dropped. Dude, who said I was into you? He buried his face in my neck, trembling. Let me hold you. I've missed this. Get off. I shoved at his chest. Alphas and omegas shouldn't. My scent glands erupted in white-hot agony. Sweet orange pheromones exploded across the court. Chaos followed as nearby omegas dropped into sympathetic heats. Ethan's hand steadied me, calloused palms burning through my shirt. You? His breath hitched. You're an omega now. The world tilted. My knees buckled as fire raced through my veins. Through the haze, Ethan's panicked shout echoed. Medic. We need suppressants in Sector B. His arms tightened protectively. I wanted to scream, to flee, but my traitorous body melted into his embrace. The last thing I heard was his broken whisper. Don't run again. Please. I glared at him through gritted teeth. Damn it. He'd uncovered the secret I'd guarded for so long. God only knew how this jerk would mock me now. I opened my mouth to salvage my dignity when the world suddenly flipped upside down. My last conscious thought was Ethan's panicked face hovering above me as he screamed for doctors. Ryan and Ethan had been branded eternal rivals since childhood. Well, mostly I was the one competing. I couldn't stand anyone outshining me. Ryan was meant to be number one. Everything became a contest, test scores, popularity rankings, even how many love confessions we received. If Ethan got one Valentine, I needed two. When secondary gender development hit at 16, I paraded my S-tier alpha test results under Ethan's nose for days. My triumph lasted precisely 48 hours before news broke that Ethan had also presented as alpha. The injustice burned. Someone with Ethan's delicate features should have been omega. Ethan didn't seem thrilled either, often watching me with that infuriatingly conflicted expression. I assumed he wanted to throw hands but lacked the guts. My retaliation escalated, snide remarks, icy silences, skipping classes to game arcades and ill-advised teen romances. Yet every rebellion got thwarted by Ethan's posse cornering me against school walls like some caged exhibit. The whole campus knew Ethan's security overhaul, sealing every possible escape route, even threatening to raise the walls, existed solely to contain me. Former partner, crime abandoned ship. Knowing Ethan only policed my mischief. Our feud reached nuclear levels, me ambushing Ethan with burlap sacks in alleys. Him playing martyr by accidentally showing bruises to my mom before swooping in as my protector. Hypocritical little saint. I'd resigned to lifelong rivalry until senior year's mock exams triggered my secondary presentation. Omega. Worse. The lab stamped our scent compatibility at 99%, higher than the 95% threshold mandating marriage under alliance law. Bullshit. I accused Ethan of hiring actors as doctors. Yet my traitorous glands burned whenever he neared. His mere presence became liquid fire in my veins, threatening humiliating public heats. Only my brother's emergency suppressants saved me from disaster. Terrified, I begged for a transfer school, anything to escape Ethan's orbit and the mortification of my past boast about claiming him. When I woke to antiseptics stinging my nostrils, the hospital's fluorescent lights confirmed my worst nightmare wasn't over yet. The faint scent of ivy lingered in the air, inexplicably bringing me an unfamiliar sense of calm. Ethan hovered nearby with evident concern. A year apart had stripped away the boyish softness from his features, leaving behind sharply defined angles. His slightly overgrown hair shadowed his eyes, obscuring his expression beneath that brooding aura. Still wearing his basketball jersey, he immediately called for doctors when I stirred awake. The physician arrived swiftly, studying my chart with deliberate slowness. Just as I began mentally drafting my will, he finally spoke. Your secondary differentiation has caused volatile hormone fluctuations. Without an alpha's stabilization, you risk shock or worse. The blocked gland explains your absent cycles this past year. I bit my lip, avoiding Ethan's gaze. I don't have an alpha. The doctor gestured toward Ethan. His pheromones show 99% compatibility with yours, rare synergy. His presence would stabilize you better than any medication. He's not my alpha. I snapped. Call it whatever comforts you. The doctor sighed. But cohabitation is non-negotiable for recovery. After listing precautions, he departed, leaving us in taut silence. Our eyes met. I lunged for the door with sudden vigor, only to be pinned against the mattress. Ethan straddled me, fingers digging into my wrist as his thumb tilted my chin upward. Running again? Piss off. I need the bathroom. Like last time? His smile didn't reach his eyes. Sophomore year flashed between us, my panicked escape through restroom windows after accidental pheromone triggers. His 2-hour vigil outside the stalls. Scout's honor. I lied through gritted teeth. He relented but kept the door ajar, earning my middle finger behind his back. I bolted during his second doctor's summoning, stifling laughter at how easily the brilliant Carter air kept falling for my ruses. Cold wind slapped my face as I exited the hospital, only to freeze at 3 new texts from unknown numbers. Clever move. Keep hiding if you dare. Next time we meet, you'll explain this year-long vanishing act. Why hide your Omega status? Why leave without word? I glanced upward. Ethan's silhouette dominated the hospital window, wind whipping his clothes as he stared down. Distance blurred his expression, but the glacial stillness made my spine prickle. The bastard was furious. So what? I blocked the number and flipped off the shadowy figure before sprinting to campus. Roommates swarmed me instantly. Ryan, that alpha at the hospital, the basketball MVP from Carter? Tier genetics. Total ice prince who rejected every Omega. How do you know him? Doctor said you're cosmically compatible. I collapsed into bed, ignoring their chatter. Morning lectures loomed like execution dates. Let the world burn. The next day when I entered the classroom, the atmosphere felt oddly charged. The usually sparse room was packed to the brim, leaving only the seat beside me conspicuously empty. I was beginning to wonder if I'd walked into the wrong lecture hall or was still dreaming when Ethan strolled in casually, breakfast in hand and a dimpled smile aimed directly at me. Jesus Christ, was this bastard trying to publicly poison me now? I shot up from my chair just as our ancient literature professor shuffled in. Why are you two lovebirds standing? Dear. Whitmore rasped, adjusting his horn-rimmed glasses. Can't say I mind the full house today, though I doubt it's for my riveting take on Shakespearean sonnets. I scooted sideways to put distance between us, but Ethan's arm snaked around my neck, pulling me flush against him. His warm breath tickled my ear as his cedarwood scent enveloped me, making my knees wobble dangerously. Babe, he murmured, lips grazing my helix piercing. Need I remind you what the specialist said about stress hormones? Peaceful coexistence with Ethan over my dead body. Get off me, I hissed, suddenly registering the absurdity. You don't even go here. Since when do you attend state lectures? Ethan's smirk widened. Curious? Beg for the answer. Dream on, asshole. I jammed my elbow backward with more force than intended. The cheap plastic chair collapsed with a crack, sending Ethan sprawling dramatically across the linoleum and dragging me down with him by the collar. We landed in a tangle of limbs, his arms locking around my waist as gas erupted around us. My cheek burned where it pressed against his stupidly firm pectorals. Knew you'd be thrilled about my transfer. Ethan chuckled, completely unfazed by our audience. His hands lingered at the small of my back. But this is a bit much, even for your dramatic flair. Go to hell. I scrambled up, nearly kneeing him in the groin. Quiet in the back, dear. Whitmore thwacked his podium with a yellowed paperback. The moment class ended, Ethan manhandled me into his vintage Mustang's passenger seat. His alpha pheromones saturated the confined space, bergamot and aged whiskey notes that inexplicably eased the constant ache behind my sternum. I caught myself leaning toward him before jerking away, face flaming as I stared out the rain-streaked window. I don't need your pity, Charity, I snapped. Pity? Ethan's fingers brushed the mating gland on my neck, feather-like. His dark lashes lowered. This is survival, right? Your secondary gender manifestation is destroying you from the inside. Let me help. I swallowed hard. The nightly fever since presenting as Omega had left me hollow-eyed and trembling. Last night's brief contact with him had been the first full sleep I'd gotten in months. Fine, I muttered, but keep your hands to yourself. Ethan's expression shifted, all traces of humor vanishing. Under alliance law, our 98% compatibility rating mandates bonding contracts. His thumb traced my jawline. I'm simply expediting the inevitable. Sweetheart, my Omega needs proper care. Shut your damn mouth. I slapped his hand away, pulse racing. Since when is this legal bullshit romantic? And I'm nobody's Omega. Could have fooled me. His laughter rumbled against my shoulder. Those blushes in senior year, whenever I passed your locker. The way you dropped your pencil during Chem Lab when I walked by. Heat flooded my cheeks. That was heat cycle pre-symptoms. You delusional prick. Keep telling yourself that. Ethan caught my wrist, pressing it against his racing heartbeat. His pupils dilated as our scents intertwined. But your body knows the truth. I was so angry that my face turned red. How come I didn't realize before that Ethan was such a jerk? Just as I was about to scold him, my glands started to heat up again. The smell of sweet oranges wafted out from it. Ethan smelled it too, and his expression changed. You're in heat. I grabbed the chair to steady myself and rummaged through my school bag with my other hand. I clearly remembered that I brought the suppressant. Why was it gone? What are you looking for? Do you need my help? Ethan asked anxiously when he saw the cold sweat on my forehead. He was a bit too close to me, and the smell of ivy seemed to be even stronger. It mixed with my sweet orange pheromones in the air. My legs became even weaker. The heat wave almost engulfed my consciousness, making me uncontrollably move closer to Ethan. I bit my tongue to force myself to stay awake. No, I couldn't lose my mind and get marked by Ethan. I pushed him away, a bit flustered. Go and find me some suppressant. The one I brought is gone. I took your suppressant. With me here. You don't need that stuff, Ethan said. No way. Give me the suppressant. I don't want to be marked by you. I'm not an Omega. I'm not your Omega. I don't want to. The unbearable pain in my body made me choke with sobs. I tried to open the door and get out, but the car door was already locked. I could only twist futilely on the chair, hoping to relieve the pain. But Ethan was still there coaxing me. Your body can't bear the suppressant anymore. Didn't you listen to what the doctor said? You can't use anything now. You can only rely on my pheromones to relieve the pain. Don't be afraid. I'll give you a temporary mark. It'll be okay. Right. Be a good boy. Ethan's pheromones became even stronger, surrounding me. I felt my body lift into the air for a moment, and the next second, I was in Ethan's arms. Don't be afraid. Right. Relax. It'll be okay. It's just a temporary mark. Don't cry. A warm sensation came from my eyelids. Something brushed across them, and then to my lips. It seemed to be his lips. I trembled and then subconsciously responded. Ethan paused for a moment. The next second, he hugged me even tighter, as if he wanted to devour me. While kissing me, he whispered my name in my ear. Ryan, don't be afraid. I'm here. Ryan, you're shaking so badly. Ryan, you smell so good. Shut up, gasped, dodging Ethan's pursuing kisses. How could things turn out like this? Didn't Ethan hate me? Why would he have such thoughts about me? Did I bully him so much before that he went crazy? Or was he just a pervert? My whole body felt like it was on fire. So hot that it felt like I was in a steamer. My legs started to go weak, and something indescribable started to stir. So hot, so uncomfortable. Give me the suppressant. I want. Give it to me. I couldn't control myself and blurted out. The next second, I felt a chill on the back of my neck. Then a sharp pain came from my gland. Ethan's pheromones were injected into it. The pain in my gland was weakened a lot, and my consciousness became a bit clearer. But the next second, I sank again, craving more. Ethan's hands wandered all over my body, as if setting me on fire. My consciousness was always hazy. I wanted to stop him, but was powerless. I could only let Ethan have his way. Damn it. I must beat Ethan up after putting him in a sack. But it really felt so good. I don't know how long it took for me to fully wake up. The surrounding environment had changed from the car to a bed. I suddenly threw off the quilt. Phew. At least my clothes were still on, though the exposed patches of my skin looked downright horrific. Goddamn Ethan. That absolute mutt. Ditching me here alone. I cursed under my breath while sitting up, only to recognize the surroundings. Wait, how did I end up at Ethan's place? Unless I'm mistaken, this is definitely his bedroom. My neck throbbed when I moved. How long had he been biting me anyway? That bastard better hope I never get the upper hand. As the thought crossed my mind, the door creaked open. Ethan entered holding a bowl, reaching to feel my forehead. You should eat. Nothing since yesterday afternoon. Your body can't handle this. Get lost. I dodged his hand and threw off the blankets, only to crumple when my legs gave out. Fuck. Careful. He warned, steadying me. Your heat cycle isn't over yet. The temporary mark's barely holding. You shouldn't be more than 3 feet from me. Temporary. Thank God. Give me suppressants and let me leave. I refused to stay. His arms tightened around my struggling form. Why this resistance? Do you hate me so much you can't stand a single minute together? Even with our 98% compatibility rating. His voice cracked. I don't understand. I bit my lip. I still couldn't accept becoming an Omega, or that my longtime rival had become my designated mate. It wasn't hatred, more that Ethan should have been the one getting knotted. After being forcibly quarantined at his penthouse for 7 days, until the heat passed and my ravaged scent glands stopped pulsing, Ethan finally released me. The pheromone haze had dangerously eroded my defenses, making me crave his proximity. What if this was just his revenge scheme? I couldn't risk falling for it. I lied about needing to prepare for a campus event, using my student council position as excuse to escape. Heads up, that Max creeps camped outside our dorm again with roses. My roommate texted en route. attaching a photo of the broccoli-haired alpha loitering by the entrance. Perfect. Finished with one problem only to face another. Should have checked my horoscope before leaving. Last month's basketball court incident haunted me. I joked about his turf-inspired haircut to friends, which he mistook as flirting. The guy had been stalking me ever since, even more persistent than Ethan. The warning came too late. As I approached the dorm, the hair nuisance spotted me. "Ryan, over here." He bellowed across the quad, drawing stares from passing students. Mortifying. I covered my face and tried slipping past, but he blocked my path. "You're back." Oh, wait. His nose twitched violently. "You smell like alpha musk. Did someone claim you?" The screech turned heads. "You told me you were into omegas. Since when do you spread for any not-headed?" Before I could respond, the air thickened with bergamot and gun smoke, Ethan's signature sent rolling in like thunderclouds. The next second, my waist was pulled into an embrace. "Sorry, Ryan is my omega." "Back off." Ethan's icy voice cut through the air, his arrival unnoticed until now. For some inexplicable reason, guilt pricked at me like I'd been caught cheating, which was ridiculous. Our school retreat wasn't some lie to ditch him. I just needed space to figure us out. Yet here he was, tailing me alongside that nuisance Max. I avoided them both like landmines. Ethan kept hounding me about some surprise he'd planned for tonight. I declined. Now I nursed my drink in the banquet hall's shadowy corner, watching my roommate Nina gather courage to confess to her alpha crush. Their tentative kiss made me recall the accidental brush of lips with Ethan in his car last week, the lingering warmth of his mouth, the pheromone-soaked haze during my heat. My cheeks burned. I downed the rest of my cocktail. Ethan must have hexed me. Why else would I? My knees buckled. The room tilted. Since when did fruit wine pack this punch? Fumbling for my room key, I stumbled toward the elevators. A hand yanked me into the service stairwell. "Relax." "Right." Max's dusty scent invaded my senses as he pinned me against concrete. Temporary marks can be overwritten. His thumb scrubbed ruthlessly at my bonding gland. I kicked weakly, heat flooding my veins again. "How? Your drink had enhancements." His grin turned feral. "Don't worry, your alpha's chasing ghosts across town." Panic spiked when ivy-scented pheromones drifted through the vents. "Ethan." I choked out before Max gagged me. "He can't hear you." His teeth grazed my neck. "Let's see how loud you scream without." The door exploded inward. I've never been so disgusted with someone in my life. "Be good. I'll make you feel good." Max released his grip, and the next second, the door was kicked open. Ethan stood there, fresh wounds visible on his body. His expression went blank when he saw me. Then his eyes reddened instantly. He lunged forward, slamming Max against the door with a vicious crack. The room flooded with S-class alpha pheromones, pinning Max motionless against the wood paneling. My own discomfort grew as the oppressive atmosphere thickened. Through hazy consciousness, I weakly called Ethan, begging him to take me away. Ethan finally released the barely conscious Max to carry me out. When we reached his room, the drug's effects had fully taken hold. My skin burned like molten lava, each breath scorching my throat. Sweet orange pheromones clashed violently with the emerging ivy scent permeating the air. "Ethan, please." I fumbled with my collar, instinctively pressing closer to the source of coolness. His arms encircled me as calming ivy pheromones temporarily eased the burning. Through the fog, I noticed Ethan's flushed face and glassy eyes. "I'm sorry I left you," he murmured, voice cracking. The temporary relief vanished like smoke. Desperate, I crashed my lips against his. Everything blurred as we tumbled onto the bed. Ethan's voice sounded distant yet intense. "Ryan, even if you regret this tomorrow, I won't let go." Ivy pheromones exploded through the room, triggering Ethan's rut cycle. 7 days. 7 days trapped between sweat-drenched sheets, only surfacing for water and protein bars. My lower body felt alien, perpetually buzzing and oversensitive. "You okay?" Ethan propped me up, bringing a warm glass to my lips. I flushed, suddenly aware of our nakedness. Memory resurfaced as I pulled away slightly. "What happened to Max?" Ethan's gaze turned arctic. "Hospitalized with multiple fractures. Police arrested him for violating Omega Protection Act Article 7. 21 and 36. He'll serve 25 years in the orbital penitentiary after discharge." His thumb traced my knuckles. "I've ensured his stay will be memorable." Relief loosened my tense shoulders. "Thanks, I guess. This is my failure to protect you." His grip tightened, painfully earnest. "Will you consider being mine? Even if you don't love me yet, we've got time. You're stuck with me regardless. Depends on your behavior." I tried sounding nonchalant. Ethan's lips quirked. "How's my performance these days?" "Get lost." I shoved his chest half-heartedly. "Not good enough." He pinned me back down, mischief glinting through his post-rut exhaustion. "Let me redeem myself properly this time." My protests dissolved into breathless laughter as his mouth sealed over mine, ivy and citrus tangling in our shared air. After avoiding Ethan for so long, I ended up entangled with him again despite all the twists and turns. Maybe this was meant to be, marked by my nemesis after becoming an Omega. And